guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. We are here in my childhood bedroom. Well, my teenage years anyway. Because I'm back at my mama's house for right now. I'll explain all that in a minute. But my room definitely did not look like this when I was a teenager. I was still into like New Kids on the Block and 90210. I went through this obsession with white tigers and koala bears. And so my walls were completely different. A lot of posters, a lot of the stuff out of Word Up magazine, a lot of Immature, the band Immature, their pictures on the wall, whatever. But my mom made it to this cozy guest room that I promptly junked up. me and my niece made like this little, we were camping. And so like there's a camping bed down here, and then just junk everywhere. But anyway, so I just want to come on and answer a couple of questions, about 10 or so, that I got a lot of in the last 6 months. Because people do email me, Tiffany Crafting Like a Boss McGill at Gmail, or they message me on Facebook, etc. So the number one question: why are you always moving? That's a loaded question. I'm a hand talker because I have ADHD, so just doing one thing sitting here is bothering me. Like, I have all this fun stuff right here that I want to play with and whatnot, but I don't have my overhead camera to talk to you and do something at the same time. I'm waiting for my arm to come in from Amazon. It's supposed to be here in any minute now. But anyway, so we moved so much. Some of it was because my husband was active duty military. And you move where the mission takes you, right? That was a few of the moves. Now, when we get to new places, obviously, we never been to certain places like Idaho. Where was that on the map? We're East Coast people, He's from New York. I'm from Rhode Island. Where the heck is Idaho? So when you get to new places, you don't know where you want to live or what you want to do. I know the perception is that the military gives you a free house. You get what you pay for. Okay. Military housing on some bases is beautiful, great. And on some bases, you have literal mushrooms growing in the carpet in your closet. Okay. So you get what you pay for. So it's not always ideal to live on base in base housing. You still have to pay for it. You get money from the military for housing because they have to relocate you. You're not buying a $300,000 house with the money they're giving you. You're getting an apartment or a townhouse or something like that. Like, you have to have other income. We're not millionaires in the military. That's one of the main false perceptions. Military housing, they're like townhouses, depending on what rank you are. Higher rank, obviously, you're going to have better housing. But the majority of base housing is not the best. I mean, literally, I have seen mushrooms growing out of carpets because it's nasty and the carpets haven't been changed in 25 years. So you get what you pay for. Just saying. Anyway, so I think we've only lived on base one time in his whole career. And that was Mountain Home, and those houses were nice. They were newer. It was nice. It still was too small for our family. So one of the moves from there was we moved into town, into a bigger house and closer to the school, closer to my job. So we moved there. But then we decided we did not want to be in this small town USA. We wanted to go to the big city. So then we made another move to the big city. So that was why we moved 3 times while we were there in 3 years. Maybe 4 years. I think it was like 3.5 years. So yeah, so we moved based on our family needs and based on where we want to live. We didn't know where the military is going to send us. Yes, you have a dream sheet that says, this is where I would like to go, but we have never gone anywhere on our dream sheet. They send us to different places. We had amazing times at these places, but what you don't know, right? Who would know that us East Coast, brats would absolutely love mountain zone Idaho. I think that was our favorite place that we've lived. And if you would have asked us before we moved there, I told David, I'm not living here. I'm not going to Idaho. What is there? Potatoes? Mm-mm. No, I'm good. And then I absolutely loved it there. Made some of the best friends there. Um, so etc. So, and then we just move wherever they take us, and wherever we find an area that we like, we move. Well, that was the career. Then our kids graduated high school. Lisa graduated college. Corey graduated high school. Then he joined the military, and life just happened. Life was hectic and crazy, and David retired, and we didn't know where we wanted to live, right? Because we were both raised military. So the military has always told us our entire lives where to live. So when you're finally done with that, where do you go? You know what I mean? Like, we know places that we loved, we know places that we hated, but it's like, okay, now we have the option. We're free. We can live anywhere in the world we want. That was, I think, the most scariest part of leaving the military life. I don't know where I want to live. You tell me. From the time I was born, the military has been telling us where to live. My dad was military and married military. Same thing. My husband, his dad was military. He's military. So where do you go? So we tried a couple different places. Weren't our favorite. And David's job, he's IT, so he can work worldwide, right? Everybody needs IT communications. He does all that business. Um, I'm in the banking industry. That's worldwide. Everybody has money, right? Every country has money. So we weren't restricted to, like people who are cow farmers. You're restricted to certain areas. Or if you're a banana farmer, I don't know, you're restricted to specific areas. You don't have that much choice. Both of our working backgrounds is universal. So we're not restricted. So that's even more scary. So we basically just went where the money was. Wherever he got the best offer for contracts is where we went. And then last year, David was just burnt out, right? He's been doing the same job for 30 years. And he was just burnt out. He needed a break. For me, and here's another question I have on my list. Do I get tired of moving? Do I want to settle down? Yes and no. Okay. For me, my banking background is universal, right? Crafting is universal. I think crafting is, you make some of the best friends bonding over paper and glue, right? Who doesn't want to be my friend when I have stuff like this, right? cute stuff. So I don't know why I'm shaking. But no, I don't get tired of moving. I don't have a preference where to live, and so that kind of falls all on David, which I know is kind of a stressor for him, but I think he likes being stressed, to be honest. He's one of those logical brains, they like to solve problems. But I have no preference. Sometimes I do get overwhelmed moving and packing, and if I have to get rid of stuff, I don't get sentimental on areas. Like, I could care less whether we live in Timbuktu or Timbuktu. I don't care. Certain things I do get a little emotional, like, okay, these scissors right here, I won them on a Fisker's 50th anniversary. I'm not leaving those behind because I won these scissors and they're mine and I want them. Could I replace them? Absolutely. It cost me $20. But they're mine and I want it. So certain stuff like that. And then there's stuff that I'm like, meh, toss it. I don't care. Give it away. I don't care. So sometimes it is a little nerve-wracking, especially this time when we moved to Ecuador, and we learned that we could only have 2 suitcases per person, period. You couldn't buy a third suitcase. You couldn't bring boxes. You couldn't bring you couldn't bring anything. It was literally 2 suitcases. It was during embargo, something, something, something. I don't know. It was a whole big long explanation. Um, so I had 4 suitcases that were just scrapbooking stuff, or I say scrapbooking because people don't know what paper crafting is, but they recognize scrapbooking. So I just say scrapbooking. Um, 4 suitcases of scrapbooking, 1 suitcase of clothes, and David had 1 suitcase of clothes, right? Poor David. I made him get rid of half his stuff so I could have four suitcases. Um, and then 3 days before we were leaving, it was like, oh, pump your brakes, girlfriend. You each get 2 suitcases. So for my 6, I had to come down to 4 and still have David have at least underwear and socks and me have my clothes. So it was really hard what to give, what to bring. Thankfully, we still own our house and we have really good tenants in there. And my stuff is in the shed that I couldn't fit from those other suitcases. Everything else we sold off, whatever. But thankfully, that stuff is in there. So sometimes it does. Sometimes I lose my stuffing. Sometimes I'm just bawling because I'm leaving my craft room that I just got sorted out, that had my beautiful custom pieces from Stamp and Storage and IKEA, and I'm so sad. But when I get to where I'm going, the experience kind of outweighs the materialistic stuff. And I completely forget what my craft room even looked like, right? So it's a bittersweet. Um, it's bittersweet. And that's the answer I have. Um, are we planning on settling down? That's always the plan, right? That has always been the plan. When David retired the military, we were planning on staying in Idaho again because that was our favorite place that we've lived, which is crazy because we would have never thought as a kid, Idaho. But now we're like, Idaho, you know what I mean? So the experiences, that the opportunities that we got to go to different places that we would have never picked, it's just absolutely amazing. My son, he got to go he got to go 4 years of high school in Idaho, but he did switch schools in his senior year because we moved to Meridian, which that kind of sucked for him. But he had the option. He could have drove to Mountain Home every day, which is like 45 minutes, but he liked the new school better, so he just kind of switched. But anyway, that was a whole nother story. But and then the city we lived in was building up too fast, and it was taking us like 30 minutes just to even get out of our neighborhood because it was on a main street. We didn't like that. And now what I've heard, our neighbors that we got to know, it says some days it takes them over an hour just to get out of the neighborhood. Nobody will let you in. You try to bully, they'll hit you before they let you in. And he was like, he's moving too, and they lived there for forever. They were the first house in that development, and they built from the ground up, and they're like, we're out, we can't take it. So we left, right, perfect time. I forgot what I was saying, but anyway, so then we moved on to the next place, which was back to North Carolina. Perfect house, beautiful. Both of us had great jobs, but then his job changed and he had to go overseas, which was fine. So then I just came back to my mom's house for a little bit, and then COVID happened and I got stuck here. Not stuck, but you know what I mean. I couldn't leave and go with David because of COVID and borders closing and this, that, and the third. And then when finally the borders opened and everyone was clear and we stopped catching COVID back and forth, I was able to go to Bahrain, which was absolutely gorgeous, hot but gorgeous. Had a great time there. Again, who picks Bahrain if you don't know anything about it? I knew stereotypes that actually weren't even there, so I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anything. Had amazing time there. Great crafting community. I couldn't really share that crafting community because there are rules with Muslim women. They can't be on camera. So I just kind of you didn't see any videos with my friends there, put it that way. And then we moved and blah, 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 blah. So Ecuador. Why Ecuador? You know what? YouTube. That was the reason. David came home one day and said, "You know what? I'm done. I'm mentally. I need a reset." Um, I was mad. I was mad because, and this is the funniest reason, because he had said we were going to stay in that house for at least 7 to 10 years. We were going to do it for 7 to 10 years. And I was like, "Are you sure?" Because I don't want to throw my original boxes away if we're not staying here. And he was like, "No, we're staying. This is it. I'm done moving, blah, 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 blah." And I threw my original boxes away. And then, like, 6 months later, he was like, "Dude, I'm done. I gotta go." So I was pretty P word with that one. Not because we had to move, but because I threw my original boxes away and I knew better. So I was more peeved off with myself than I was with him. And when I say original boxes, I mean, like, this is my portrait. It's still in the original box, even though, well, this one's brand new, but, like, I will keep this box for forever. My original Cricut with the cartridges is still in the original box because I keep my boxes, because with military, if you don't have your stuff in original boxes, if they damage it, they're like, "Well, it wasn't packaged properly. That's on you." So I keep all of my original boxes, packaging everything, like my printers. I have all of the clear film. I have all the styrofoam. Everything has original boxes, and I threw my boxes away. So that was on me. But he needed a reset, and I'm always down for an adventure. And my again, my background, my work background is universal. My hobby, passion, my crafting is universal, right? So I can just pack it up. Let's go. We get to where we're getting. We'll get more craft stuff. We'll get me set up. I am good to go. I don't care where we live. A house is a house, right? It's what you do to make it a home. Um, so that's that. I was really annoyed that I couldn't bring all my stuff to Ecuador. But when I got to Ecuador, I was super excited. Beautiful country, amazing. But I learned that due to COVID and tariffs and embargo fees and blah, 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 all of the paper crafting places near me were gone, right? Super sad face, tears. Um, so I was taken aback by that. I was like, "Whoa, okay." David, problem solver. Don't worry, Tiff. Every 6 months, we'll go back to Florida because it's cheap to fly from there to Florida. We'll get whatever you need. We'll send it back, whatever you can do. Because we learned that there's not really a mailing system, right? There is a way to get stuff from the people that I've known that have been there for years and years and years. Said it's easier now to get some stuff from Amazon. You still got to wait, and you have to pay the weight, and if they want to tax you on it and fees and da da da. It was very complicated. So we just didn't have any mail. I didn't take the time to learn a mailing address. I'm sure there was one. I don't know. But I didn't want to have to wait for my stuff and it gets stuck in customs or it gets stuck in the border, and I didn't want to hassle. So David said, "We'll just fly to Florida. No problem." Which was fine because in April is the expo in Orlando. So I just thought, okay, April, I'll just go and get more stuff. Well, in the meantime, David just couldn't. Who's at my house? Well, my parents' house. Okay, mailman. I hope the screen is not jumping for you. It's jumping for me. I don't know why, but I'm out of breath. I ran up and down the stairs. That was another. That was another question I got, and I'll answer that in just a second. Anyway, what I was saying is that David was having a hard time with the altitude, and he was so sick for a lot of the time, which we've been married for over 18 years, and he's only been sick like two other times. Once was COVID, and the entire time that we were married, but pretty much the entire time we were there, he was sick, and so it wasn't a Ecuador was not a great place. He started getting used to the altitude and all of that towards the end. It did take a couple months, but then we had some family drama. There's a death in the family. There was, just drama. And we said, okay, you know what? Let's just come back to the States. Let's deal with the drama. And I say drama like it sounds so dramatic, but just, regular family stuff. Death in a family obviously is kind of hard. But the rest of the stuff is just stuff. But let's deal with that, and let's regroup and decide what we want to do. We are going to eventually go back to Ecuador. We really, really loved it there. We enjoyed our time, met some amazing people. We probably won't live in the same area that we were in. We'll probably be closer to town. But, we did love it there. So that is definitely still on the block. USA is not really, I don't want to be political, but right now we're seeing things and hearing things that do not coincide with our beliefs. And why does it get dark all of a sudden? Our beliefs and our way of life, I guess. It's scary. The unknown is scary. So that's where we're at. We love our American amenities, but overseas, with the kindness, the welcoming, the mind your business, we enjoy that more so than a divided nation. So we're probably going to live overseas unless we see a change. Right now we're seeing a change for the worse that we just don't enjoy. And obviously it could just be the areas that we live in, that we're from, that we know of. But the stuff that even just me coming back, there were some incidents the first couple of days that we were back in the United States from complete strangers that we did not enjoy, seeing unkindness. So again, those are insulated situations, but they were still situations that we should not have to endure or to witness. That's going to leave it at that. So coming back to the question of me being out of breath. So a lot of people asked, was I okay on my videos in Ecuador? Because I was always out of breath. Yes, I was fine. Now I had a lot of sinus infections. Actually, okay, not a lot. I had two really bad sinus infections that just kind of dragged on, and I sounded out of breath. I couldn't breathe. I got sinuses. I got problems. I'm allergic to the allergy shots, and so I can't take them. And I'm allergic to most. I'm actually allergic to Benadryl. I'm allergic to most antihistamines, and so I get sinus infections. Man, if the wind blows northwest, I'm getting a sinus infection. And the secret, the majority of my videos are recorded in the same day or the same week. So I might be saying, hey, it's Wednesday, it's box day, but it's legit Sunday for me in real life. So sometimes the videos, it sounded like I was sick for longer than what it was, because I pre-record the videos whenever I have time, and I just match them to whatever day. So for instance, this video is being recorded like February 20th, and it's not going to play until sometime in March. So that's what kind of happens. Like sometimes I'm sick, but I may record a video, and then that when I actually schedule it, it's like a month later. Also, depending on the day, sometimes the altitude was a lot for me, so I was out of breath, and talking like, struggling to breathe. That's usually when a storm was coming. The air was very thin, so it was kind of hard to breathe. Not anything you notice until you're on camera, and then you hear like you can hear yourself. Like right now, you can hear me breathing hard because I literally ran up and down the stairs, and I'm fat. So I had no business running up and down them daggone stairs like I did. So yeah, you're going to hear that. you were just gonna hear it. I was fine, obviously. Someone noticed in one of my videos that right here my lips were blue, and they completely freaked out. Again, it was the altitude. I had been outside all day. We lived up the hill, so my oxygen level probably was low, and so my lips were blue here. I rarely show my face on camera only because I'm usually crafting. See my Stampin' Up shirt, it's my jammies. I'm usually crafting. You can see my hands, and that was another day too that my fingernails were blue. Were turning blue and purple because again my oxygen was low, and somebody noticed that. So thank you so much for those concerns. I really appreciate you guys just looking out for me. Again, we're a family. This crafting world is just an amazing family. Amazing, just amazing. That's the only word I can say. Like, you guys genuinely care for me and my family, and you guys always ask, where's Corey in the world? Where's Lisa? Lisa has kind of a more normal life than Corey. She's a school teacher. She's my oldest, and so her life is kind of just calm. She went, she got to go to high school in the same place. She got to go to college in the same place. Like she didn't have to move around, because she stayed with her mom, and so she didn't move around as much as we did. But obviously she was with us, during summers and stuff like that. But she had the calm staying in one city life. She got married, and she married military, so they finally just moved. But the majority of her life was in one area for 90% of her time. And then Corey, he's active duty, and he flies all around the world. I never know where in the world Corey is. He's like Carmen Sandiego. I gotta get clues, to figure out where Corey is. And we have Corey full time, so you guys do hear me talk more about Corey than Lisa. But she's also older. She's almost 30, and so I know, right? So she's had a calmer life that sometimes I'm jealous of. I only have like 2 or 3 friends that I've known since I was young. And again, they were military too, so they understand we don't talk to each other but maybe once or twice a year, but we're still like best friends. I talk to y'all more than I talk to them. But they're my heart, and I love them, till the last day, to my last breath. But yeah, so Lisa has friends from kindergarten, that she still talks to. So it's it's a different life. It really is when and some of my coworkers are like, I've never even been out of the country. Like our vacations are to the beach and that's it. And I just can't fathom. I have never lived in a house for more than 5 years, ever. Actually, not even a house. I've never lived in a state for more than 5 years in my entire life. The only time that we lived somewhere that consecutively is when we lived in New Mexico when I was in half of first grade till half of 5th grade. We lived in New Mexico in the same house. That's the only time in my life. So from, what is that, 6, 7 to like 10 is the only time that I lived more than 2 or 3 years in a state. So that's just crazy for some people. They're in their child, like my parents have been here since 1996. I just can't fathom that. The same house, yes, it's changed. They redid the kitchen, the bedrooms got new paint, new beds, new whatever. Because I have bunk beds, and where this bed is now was actually my futon with 9,000 stuffed animals on there. And then my Barbie shelf was over here and stuff like that. So obviously it's changed, but oh, and we had a fit when my mom changed the bathroom because it was rubber duckies and she changed it, and we had a fit. Mind you, we were grown. Me and my brother, we were grown in our like 20s and 30s when my mom finally changed our bathroom, and we had a fit. We don't even live here. We don't pay bills here. Like, we shouldn't even have an opinion, but we were sad. Like, we were devastated. I'm not gonna lie, over these daggone rubber ducks. And she saved certain pieces for each of us. So I have my rubber duck towel, couple towels, and the the matching face cloths, and so does he. And we have them because how dare she, right? So anyway, so that was that. Another question I get was my kids. I just answered that. What else? What else? What else? I think that's it. I kind of wanted to keep this to 30 minutes. I know we're over 30 minutes, but where are we going next? It's like we're just gonna play like a little roulette wheel. Like we just, you know, when we picked Ecuador, it was literally because of YouTube, right? David was watching YouTube, something popped up. I think it was oh my god, what are their names? Amelia and her husband. And then Steve and LaShawn, we have all that like and we got to meet them. It's my celebrity claim to fame. Um we got to meet them in Ecuador and hang out and she came to my birthday party. I know. Anyway, so we saw them living the life, having a great time, living, on a very low budget, and affording stuff and having a great time and just having that kinship and that culture. Ecuadorian culture is just beautiful and they're about family and friendship and kinship and just loving life and taking whatever you have and making it your mansion. We just really really loved it. And also food there was inexpensive. Like a pound of ground beef was like a dollar something, maybe $2. Now the American amenities, they were expensive. I'm not gonna lie. Like peanut butter was $15 for a jar of peanut butter. If you want Jif, and we only eat Jif, so we paid the $15 because I'm only paying $2 for meat, so I'll go ahead and pay 15 for the peanut butter that lasts a month. Um, that's just what it was. And there were certain things you couldn't get that you don't realize you miss until you can't have it, like relish, dill relish. Couldn't have that. They only had sweet relish, and I don't like that. But just certain cheese. When Kraft Singles is the good cheese, the expensive cheese, the delicious cheese. That's all we're gonna say with that. Um, and then other stuff like liquid body wash. They use bars, and we don't do bars, and so just kind of some of the amenities were not amenitying. Yeah, that's my verb. Um, so you hit the give and the take, right? Um, and again, we moved, we moved twice while we were there in 6 months because we were in one place, and we didn't. We found like we were in Manta, and yes, we woke up to a beautiful ocean and whales playing and stuff like that, but it was kind of boring. There was nothing else to do other than watch the whales. There was restaurants and stuff, but I mean, you can only go to restaurants just so many times a day, right? There really wasn't a lot there for us to do. And so we moved down to Cuenca or up to Cuenca, I'm not sure. And there was a lot more going on. Like there was like a parade like almost every day, celebrating something. Just celebrating life. There's fireworks every day, gotta wake up the saints, scare away the evil. Um, just stuff to do every single day. A lot of it we didn't even have time to do. I was busier retired than I was when I was working, right? I met my craft group there, which nobody else is a paper crafter. And so I learned other crafts that I normally would not partake in because you guys know I don't like my hands messy. I don't do any of that. But guess what? I did, and I really enjoyed it. Like, um, I made coasters. I stressed myself out with them, trying to find the design, but they came out beautiful. And we did just a lot of DIY stuff that I normally wouldn't do. And now I'm like, I'm a DIYer. And we made decoupage and, just messy stuff that normally I wouldn't partake in. But I found I have other skills and I really enjoy doing that stuff. And obviously I think I just really enjoy just being around the people. Um, but also doing a craft, right? And people were like, I'm not crafty at all. And then make these amazing things. Because you don't know what skills you have until you try something new, right? Um, what else did I do? I know I did decoupage. which is, you glue the paper napkin and stuff, coasters, um, string art. Um, I didn't do the painting thing. I just couldn't bring myself to do painting. I watched. It was gorgeous. Um, but I just didn't. I saw when people started getting their hands messy. It was like chain painting. Not for me, but it was beautiful. I loved watching it. Somebody gave me theirs, and I really loved it. What else did we do? Making like handmade soap and just all that kind of stuff. Super fun stuff that we did there. Um, I learned Spanish ish. I'm not fluent by any means. I understand a lot more than what I am comfortable saying. Yo tengo miedo de hablar. I have fear for speaking. I'm afraid of speaking. Pero yo entiendo, but I understand. So I'm still keeping up with my Spanish. I'm going to find actually a Spanish class here. I don't know how long we're going to be here. David did get this job offer that we asked for ridiculous amenities because we were like, David doesn't really want to work. We didn't really want to work, but not only did they meet our ridiculous demands, but they gave us extra. And so it's kind of like, dang, now we have to take the job. So David's taking that job, and it's in a place where I can't go. We'll leave it at that. It's not really, he's not going anywhere dangerous or anything, but you need special shots, vaccines and stuff, and I'm allergic to those vaccines, so I can't be vaccinated, so it's not safe for me to go. Let's put it that way. It's not safe. So he's going to be there for a couple months. It's not for that long. It's for a couple months. And then we're going to see what we're going to do. So I'm going to live like a teenager again for the next couple of months, at least 3 months, while he does that. And then we're going to see from there what we're going to do. But anyway, that is my wrap up because I'm hungry. So I'm going to stop the video here, but thank you so much for supporting me, my family, just watching me, the comments, the concerns, the questions. I love it. I love it. My life is an open book. I should be an influencer, right? It's too much work. But yeah, so just let me know your thoughts. Yeah. All right, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Bye.